afterwards.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about. We're gonna go ahead and do it. All right, y'all boys, let's go ahead and get into this. This is welcome to Nuance and Black. This is our second episode. We appreciate everybody being here in Nuance and Black. We talk about anything from pop culture to serious news that affects the Black community and that we're interested in. I'm joined again by JMan and Well Adjusted. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys. Let's start with JMan.
Yo, what's up? It's the main man, J-Man, here to give you all the news that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And our homie, our resident old head, Well Adjusted. How's it going?
What's happening? Representing Gen X up in the building for all the Black folks that been around since day one.
Yeah. Y'all really been around since day one. I mean, bad. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Definitely would like to hear from the resident who was around when hip hop first started, because major hip hop news. Drake has his case has been dismissed. He did lose the lawsuit against UMG for the Not Like Us diss, and I am happy that he lost, because if he did win, that would say, where rap and hip hop is as a, not just as a culture, but as a force of music. You know what I mean? If we can now sue each other and get songs taken down for diss records, you know what I mean, that will cause a lot of issues within the culture, because now label heads and all of them, in order to not get sued, they would curtail the music that could come out. You know what I mean? They'll put things on ban lists. Spotify wouldn't host them without the backing of the label, because of course now Spotify could probably get sued for that. In addition with the label getting sued, you know what I mean? So the fact that Drake lost this is a big W for hip hop, in my opinion, and a big L for Drake, because he lost this battle in both the black way and the white way. So yeah,
so true. So very true.
Man, all right, Ed, go ahead and let us know your opinion. What you think about these developments?
Well, first of all, I'm going to agree with the judge and say, because the judge said, homie, this is a battle that you participated in voluntarily and you lost. Suck it up and take it like a man.
Absolute
That's the way hip hop
facts.
Works. That's the way hip hop works.
That's the way it works, bro.
Listen, okay. Here's from the bowels of hip hop, my hip hop knowledge. So, Boogie Down Productions back in the '80s. There's a producer named MC Shan. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody remembers MC Shan, but if you remember, there was a rapper named Snow who came out in the early '90s, and he was this white guy that had this serious Jamaican accent, and he was rapping. Yeah, well, he was produced by MC Shan. Well, MC Shan had been a rapper back in the '80s, but what happened was MC Shan started a battle with KRS-One from Boogie Down Productions. Mm-hmm. And what happened was Boogie Down Productions totally bodied him. And that's when Shan disappeared. Mm-hmm. And the last time, after that, the next time you heard from Shan was because he was backing this new white rapper named MC Snow. Mm-hmm. And then he disappeared again.
Disappeared once more time.
After Snow disappeared, MC Shan disappeared. Mm-hmm. That was a battle that he participated in voluntarily. Here's the thing, though. If MC Shan had never responded to KRS-One, people would still know who MC Shan is. Mm-hmm. No one would know who KRS-One or Boogie Down Productions was. Mm-hmm. Because he participated willingly and got bodied, he vanished. Another up-and-comer popped up, and now everybody knows who Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One is. Very few people know who MC Shan is. Mm-hmm. So Drake did exactly the same thing. He participated willingly, but he got bodied. Mm-hmm. And now he wanted to cry to the court and say, wait a minute, this is so unfair because this person said all these negative things about me. And he said, yeah, you said negative things about him too. It's just that his lines were better.
Exactly. It's like his was better. His disses was better. Like me when I first heard Euphoria, right? People were like, "Oh, that's not powerful enough." I'm like, "Y'all, he's cooking up something." And trust me, Euphoria had a lot of things in there that you're not catching. You're gonna catch it later. Mm-hmm.
Meet the Grams.
Then Meet the Grams. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was right there. That was just going to his son and saying, "I'm sorry that you got this piece of shit for your father," and then going to his parents and saying, "You guys produced a piece of shit."
Yeah.
That's something serious.
That's not serious. That's not, and you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, right? Because if he had dropped Meet the Grams maybe like a week later, people would probably had a different reaction to it because Family Matters was actually good. That's actually a very good track. Family Matters was good. You know what I mean? But then Meet the Grams dropping that same night, it just sucked all the air out the room. Everybody was like, God damn. All right, I think I have enough of this. I've had enough. Cause wow, yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, like this was a big W for hip hop, and I'm so glad that this happened because it's like the thing is when it came to this Drake and when it comes to this Drake and Kendrick battle, for like hip hop nerds and folks like us, what we knew was this battle was more than just these niggas don't like each other. It was about the very essence and the very soul of hip hop itself. You feel what I'm saying? Because Drake represents like more of the soulless features of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like FD Signifier, the commercialism, exactly. Yes. Like I made a video on this, and FD Signifier also made a video on this. What the culture is feeling, like a whole essay on it, right? Like a 3-hour video, and he broke it down like way more than I can. But it was basically like his commercialism and everything like that. And one thing that I pointed out in my video is that when you are to be considered the king of hip hop, to be considered like at the top, to be considered part of the crown, hip hop is tied to the Black struggle. That's where it came from. It came from there. So every single artist that is considered the top of the game, that's considered the king of rap at that point, every single one of them has spoken on the Black struggle, has touched on it. Every single one of them. You feel what I'm saying? Like from Pac to Big, even Eminem, who is not Black, has spoken on the Black struggle. You see what I'm saying? Even Lil Baby, who does not do struggle music at all, he's done it one time. But the fact is, he's done it. Every single rapper who is considered top of the game has always spoken on the Black struggle. You know who hasn't? Drake.
Let me guess. Somebody who's Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah. He has never spoken on it. And what's worse about it is that people have confronted him about this before and say, yo, as a rapper and as a Black man, and hip hop being so tied to Black cultural struggle within the United States, you've never touched on this topic before. And people have asked why not. And he's flat out said that he refuses to. Now, of course, he said that he doesn't connect with it the way that we do, which is understandable. But you can't call yourself the king then. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so tied to that you can't call yourself the king. And he was trying to take that crown, and Kendrick was like, nah, you not like us. Right. You know?
In more ways than one.
Exactly. More ways than one. It's like this is and this is why I'm happy that Kendrick won, because if in another world where Kendrick lost, that would signal to the industry that, okay, cool. The soul, the part of hip hop that's been tied to it for the past 50 years is gone now. So now we can put out this soulless bullshit. That does tie into a little bit of how you know how rock and roll was snatched up from us, right? When it became a predominantly white genre. After Eminem came out, you could see that they were trying to produce more Eminems. It just failed because number one, Eminem himself was not with that shit. You know what I'm saying? But number two, Southern rap came out. You know what I'm saying? And when Southern rap came out, it was such a style that could not be duplicated again. Even though like when Bubba Sparks came out, they were like, oh, okay, there's gonna be more Eminems now. But even Bubba and Paul Wall was not on that shit. They was like, nah, you're not gonna disrespect the Southern sound by trying to produce these motherfuckers who just not part of the culture like that. You know what I'm saying? The only reason we part of the culture is because Black people accepted us and we grew up around them. You know what I'm saying? But them trying to produce more, it was never gonna succeed because it's so tied to a cultural sound. You know what I'm saying? Like this is getting more deeper than what I expected, but still.
But what was Kendrick saying about Drake? He said, "You're not a part of our culture, and as a matter of fact, you only come to leech off of our culture when your pockets are flat." That's what he said about Kendrick. I mean, about Drake. That's what Kendrick said about Drake, and Drake did not refute that at all.
He did not. He said, "You're not a colleague, you're a colonizer." You know,
Right.
so 100%. Well, what do you think, J-Man?
Okay, you guys are way more passionate into this than I do for sure. It just goes to show, just goes to show the difference between professional hip hop heads and a dude who just listens to music that he likes whenever it comes out. But the only take I had was surface level shit. That I'm glad that he lost, because I mean I agree with a lot of. Honestly, I wasn't into like any of this hip hop, like I said last episode, until this Drake Kendrick stuff. That's when I started hearing a lot more about it, because even guys on my job site were talking about it. I'm a fucking tradesman, that's not prime time for fucking hip hop and stuff. But even they were talking about it. And, eventually I went and listened to Kendrick's Not Like Us. And the thing I like about rap the most is I like the beats and stuff, but I really just appreciate the lyricism the most. I want to hear the story and hear what they're actually talking about, the things that are going on that they see. And him bringing up exactly what you guys said, you're not actually part of this specific culture. You kind of come in, you take your little pieces, a culture vulture, you take your little pieces and then you go and leave everything else for dead. You come in and you don't add to it. You just take what's popular and then, you head out. You're not a real member of this culture. Exactly like you said, you're not like us. So I'm really glad that at least that he didn't win the court case off of that. I think that's a very important thing. I think it might be a little blow to his ego as well.
Glad he got embarrassed.
I hope it is. I hope it is. I hope it will be.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we haven't heard anything from Drake in the public media for quite a while now.
No, that's true. You could tell this blew his ego.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, true. Excellent. Like this had to be a blow to his ego. Now, here's the thing. I don't have, any huge issues with Drake, right? Like I think his music it goes off. His music does go off in the club and everything like that. But it is vapid, shallow music. You know what I mean? Which is okay. That's his lane. You know what I mean? But hip hop has an essence. Vapid, shallow music has always existed, but we knew there was a soul to it. And the vapid shallowness cannot be the king. You know what I mean? It cannot be the king. That soul to it has to be the king. You feel me? And that's what this battle was about, essentially. It was about the soul of hip hop, and you can't, have it be vapid and just not good. I was gonna bring up that empty signifier video. It's just like, to love Drake is to hate goodness. That's what
right. I get what you're saying. It's the idea that we cannot allow this commercialization of hip hop to win out over what hip hop is at its essence. And what it is the story of the struggle of a people and their culture and their lack of assimilation within that culture.
Yeah, and
this individual right here wasn't even trying to assimilate. He was only trying to take from it what he could get commercially, because remember where he came from in the first place. He was an actor.
Yeah,
actor.
No, it's crazy.
Actor. Yep, go for it.
What's crazy is I remember when I first. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say first because that's not true. I think like the first time I knew who Drake was, when he was actually coming onto the scene and singing and everything. I think I was like 12 or 13 years old, something like that. My uncle was real into him because he was coming out hot. The what they call him, he had a nickname or a phrase or something. The something who could sing, a rapper who could sing or something like that. But my uncle was real heavy into him, and I remember seeing him, and he looked familiar, and I couldn't figure out where I knew him from until I went to school and I was in a cafeteria one day, and it was one of the nicer schools. They had like TVs in the cafeteria and shit. And they had, what was the show called? Degrassi, I think it was.
Degrassi.
Yeah.
Junior High, Degrassi High. Yeah.
And I see him.
He played
and I
Snake.
looked at that, and it took everything I had not to jump up. It's like, that's him. That's Drake. That's where I know him from.
Yeah, he played the character who got paralyzed somehow. He was playing basketball or something, and he got shot or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. He he was shot by one of the characters. It was a school shooting episode. I remember that because I grew up on Degrassi. You know what I mean? And it took me a long time to like, why are the accents so funny? And you know, that's when Google first came out. So I Googled it and I was like, oh, they're Canadian.
Yeah, they're Canadian.
I was like, wow, why are they accents so funny? This seems weird. You know, so but
I can admit that when he started to make music, the music itself was good. It was banging. Say like fucking Problems. Excellent song.
Excellent song.
Forever,
in
which he featured Eminem. Excellent song.
Yeah.
But he himself is not. As you can plainly see the commercialization of hip hop in the way that he produced his music.
Yeah, exactly. You can see that he was just riding on trends, which is kind of sad because Drake is genuinely talented. So he could have promoted the Toronto sound. You know what I'm saying? You know, what's kind of funny, right? You guys remember what happened with Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion and everything like that?
Yeah.
What's funny about that is that Tory was always trying to get signed to Drake, right? But Drake wouldn't really sign him like that. And people start to say that if Drake had just signed Tory, maybe this whole shit wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? Because he would be somewhere else instead of like over there. You know what I'm saying? Now it's still Tory's fault that he did what he did to Megan, but still, it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's in a different world. If Drake had just signed Buddy, maybe he wouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? And maybe like Tory would have come out with coming out with music because even Tory is genuinely talented. You know what I'm saying? So it's a sad case when someone like Drake, who is genuinely talented, rides trends instead of promoting his own sound. Because there were people from Toronto, like Party Next Door, like I Love MAGAmites, like Tory Lanez, they have their own sound up there. And instead of, you know, him focusing on producing that and making the Canadian scene pop, just like how Nelly made the St. Louis and the scene pop, you know what I mean? He just focused on riding trends instead, which is, you know, kind of sad. And instead of being a colleague, just like we said, he was a colonizer, you know?
You know who else was from Toronto? MC Snow.
MC Snow,
who was produced by MC Shan. Snow was from Toronto. As a matter of fact, he even says it in his song. He says it in Informer.
Yeah, Snow was from Toronto.
People didn't get it because he had that very thick Jamaican accent when he was rapping, but he says he's from Toronto.
yeah. You know something? What's funny? There's also a UK sound. Yeah, I mean, and the thing about the UK sound is that because of the accents, it's hard for Americans to get into it. But there are genuinely some good rappers over there. My favorite one right now is Dave. Dave is extremely good. If you listen to what's that album called? We're all alone. We're alone in this together. That's an album that he has. Alone in this together. Like, it's very good. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very good. He has a song called I think it's called Elsie or Lucille. It's a whole story about domestic abuse. It's incredible. Very, very good. But you know, I mean, the accents. That's the accents. You know, that's the only thing that blocked people from listening to it.
Yeah, we as Americans are very picky. We're very picky.
Yeah, remember what Ari Spears said when he first he said, "Yo, I can't listen to niggas from London rap." And it's crazy because every time I put on some UK drill, I'm like, Ari's not even wrong about this, bro. That's how all that shit sounds. Why do they sound like that? Why do they do that? All the same type of flow. Like, why y'all niggas do that, bro? Like, I gotta switch up this flow, like, for real, because all y'all sound the same. It's oh man, it's a bit crazy. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and because we got a bit on a tangent there. Speaking about so-called foreign countries, I know y'all heard about the MAGAmites being upset that Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't get it. Puerto Rico is part of the United States. You know what I'm saying?
They don't know that though.
Yeah,
They
right,
don't
right.
care. Even if they know that, they don't care.
Right. Bad Bunny's American.
He's American. And you know what? This really pointed something out to me, because you'll hear a lot of conservatives say, "Oh, you know, I mean, we believe everyone is American and everything like that." But it's like, now you have someone who is an American performing on one of the biggest platforms that we have for America, and you're saying they're not American. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, because like, it showed to me that conservatives, you know, or white or otherwise, they do not believe that everybody is American. They only believe that they believe in white hegemony, and believing in white hegemony doesn't mean that you have to be a white person. So a lot of people don't understand. You don't have to be a white person to believe in white hegemony. We've seen that from Kanye West and Candace Owens. Kanye even said it himself. He wants to be what the white people have, what the white men have. He wants to be that. You see what I'm saying? He wants to be just like them. So he believes in white hegemony despite being a black person. Same thing with people like not Jordan Peterson, Jesse Lee Peterson, the conservatives that all the black conservatives that we see. We'll get to that in a second. Officer Tatum. We'll get to the black conservatives in a second, because we definitely got to talk about that. But
yeah,
exactly. It showed to me that white hegemony to them is essentially English-speaking white folks from Western Europe or Western European descent. That's what they believe in. Yeah, I mean, that's what they believe the American is. And if you're not that phenotype, but you believe in their quote unquote cultural mannerisms and traditions, then you're a true American. But us on the outside of it is not, which is why they try to take over rap so much, and they keep failing. You feel me? Let me get y'all opinions though. What do y'all think about this entire controversy, so quote unquote, with Bad Bunny?
Well, I did a little looking, and I understand why a lot of white people are kind of upset, because the last time that a white person headlined the Super Bowl halftime show, it was 2019, and it was Maroon 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before Maroon 5, the last few performers were Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, and Coldplay, and Katy Perry. So the white people held on to that for quite a while. But then right after Maroon 5, the next headliner was Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. So they were like, okay, we can handle them because they're just light enough. Mm-hmm. And Shakira is not even American. But she's light-skinned enough that she could be considered white. Mm-hmm. And Jennifer Lopez, you know, Jenny from the block, has catered to white America for her whole career, ever since she left In Living Color as a dancer. Mm-hmm. Then right after Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, The Weeknd performed. The very next Super Bowl show was Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, and 50 Cent. Mm-hmm. Right after that one, Rihanna. Mm-hmm. Right after that one, Usher. Mm-hmm. And then Kendrick Lamar. So white people are going, oh my God, when can we get another white person? When can we get another white person? And the problem is, you kind of just don't have that kind of luck, because black folks kind of run the show when it comes to entertainment.
We do. Like, it's like, what are y'all don't. Y'all should be sucking, bro. Like, you have to leech off of us.
You don't got nobody up there performing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. What you say, Jay, man, about all this?
I think it's easily just the playing racism thing. You know what it is? Okay, I'm gonna liken it to this. You know the reason everybody gives for why nobody watches the WNBA? It's because the reason they say they don't watch it is because it's not fun. It's not as good as the NBA. They don't have the same talent. They don't have the same flair. That's the same reason why white people aren't headlining the Super Bowl all that often.
Right?
Yeah. They don't have the same. I'm not gonna say they don't have talent. Okay, I have a lot of white artists on my fucking playlist. Okay, they're good. They don't got the flair for it though. Not compared.
Just not as good.
Just not as. You're good. Just not as good. And hey, we live in a merit-based system, don't we? So clearly, we got to put out whoever's going to bring in the most money, and it's just not white people.
It's just not, because I mean the thing is, here's what I've said. The reason why we're not seeing a lot of more entertainment from white folks now is because the white boys stopped starting a band in their garage, and they started being online more to try to talk like us. You know what I'm saying? The suburban whites need to go back to starting bands in their garage and having teenage angst and a depression over there not seeing their dad for the past 6 months because he's traveling in Bali or some shit like that. That's what we need again. You feel me? Suburban white culture needs to make a comeback, because they had their own thing going on. Like, suburban white people had their own thing going on. They had their own slang. Remember when white girls used to say whatever major loser? That was fire. What happened to that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. What happened to that? You know what I mean? Like, they don't have that anymore. Now they're talking about, your
fingers in the forehead.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they had all of that. You feel me? So it's like, and then you had what the last white boy garage band that I've enjoyed was Green Day. You know what I mean? Fall Out Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Green Day, it's still dope. I love Boulevard Broken Dreams. Like, that's, that's basically the soulful version of white people right there. You know what I'm saying? Remember Linkin Park?
Pumpkins isn't bad.
Smashing Pumpkins is dope. Yeah, they're really good. But Smashing Pumpkins, 9 Inch Nails. 9 Inch Nails was really good. You see what I'm saying?
I love 9 Inch Nails, actually. I love 9 Inch Nails.
Who's some other people I'm forgetting? System of a Down. System of a Down is fire. You see what I'm saying? But it's like, these white kids don't have that no more. You know what I mean? They had their own thing, their own style. They had their own fashion. You know what I mean? Like, white boys used to wear.
Was a thing.
Yeah,
Seattle grunge was a thing, and Nirvana was the lead headliner of when it came to Seattle grunge bands.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, so it's like these. That's what I mean. So suburban white culture got to make a comeback, bro, because it's like, what happened to y'all? Y'all had your own thing. Yeah, I mean, what happened to the white dudes who would shave most of their hair and have a mohawk and put it in a spiky thing and have like a dog collar on their wrist and have chains going down their jeans? What happened to that?
The Clash. You're talking about the Clash.
The Clash.
Awesome punk band from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, what happened to that, bro? Because I was
British punk, as a matter of fact.
British punk. The dudes that go on like, oi, them dumb dudes.
Like the Sex Pistols.
The Sex Pistols. Yeah, dude. Yeah, those got to make a comeback,
White people
man.
have their thing. White people have their thing. The problem is white people want everybody else's shit too.
Yeah, exactly. You had your own thing, bro. Like, develop that. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know why they haven't developed that yet. Like, y'all gotta go ahead and go back to that and develop your own thing going on.
You know why? I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Because the Super Bowl 56 halftime show with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, 50 Cent, the most viewed halftime show on YouTube. 322 million views. Super Bowl 59 halftime show. Kendrick's halftime show. The most watched Super Bowl halftime show in history. 133.5 million views. That's why they want what we have, because they can't produce numbers like that on their own.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the problem.
Pretty much that, and I agree that's the problem. Is like I'll always say, like, imagine if you had generations of these bands coming up on stage. You had Aerosmith, you had Kiss, and you had Nirvana, and then you had what's the other one, like Green Day or Linkin Park, all on stage. You know what I'm saying? That would probably break the internet, but they don't have that no more for this generation. Who's the Linkin Park for this generation?
I don't know.
Yeah,
used to be Limp Bizkit. And they fizzled out.
But Limp Bizkit was my generation. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, for the Gen Zers, who's their Linkin Park? For Gen Alpha, who's gonna be their Limp Bizkit? Who's gonna be their Rage Against the Machine?
Very good question.
Yeah, man. What you think, Jay, man?
I don't know. I think it does go back to the online thing. The internet ruined them, is what it is.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe it's hard to get a band together. Maybe drums are too expensive and stuff, and they're just not seeing the value in hanging out with each other. I don't know.
You just need a drum
The
machine now.
garage bands, handing out your CDs at the mall and stuff. That's over. I don't know. I don't know how how you go to the suburbs and convince them, hey, you need to get your kids together into the garage, get them some instruments, something. I don't know.
Yeah,
they need to get them off of the internet first of all.
Mhm.
They get them off of the internet and not playing the PlayStation and the Xbox 24/7.
Mhm.
Do something besides that.
Yeah,
How do we convince them that that's cool though?
they got you know what it is?
It's one thing to try and get them, off that and everything, but if all they're seeing is, rap is the new cool thing, rap and hip hop and all that, how do we convince them that going back to rock, that's their thing that they got?
Yeah, but you know what it is? Like it's like what you said, the internet, right? Our black culture is very, very consumable, and it's all over the internet. So I would say for them to see that shit is cool again, is that it has to be put onto the internet. They have to be like a Twitch streamer going live, like a Twitch band or whatever. Like they're streaming, going live, and they're in their garage and some shit like that. If that becomes super popular, like the way Kai Cenat and all of them is, then you'll start to see a lot more people emulate that. You feel what I'm saying? Try to emulate rappers and try to emulate, NBA YoungBoy and shit like that. They will try to emulate them on themselves, but it has to be like how you said. It has to be look cool. You know what I mean? And right now it just doesn't. How do you convince them that that shit is cool? It's hard to. You feel me?
Yep. I don't know. I don't know exactly how I would be able to market white people to white people in order to make white people cool again. I just don't know how to do that. If I could do that, it would be awesome
Mhm.
because then it would be okay. Now you can get up off my nuts. But I don't. White people just don't find white people cool.
Yeah, no. Facts that's true. They just don't find them to have some cool shit, and then black folks have some cool shit. Oh, matter of fact, yeah, that's what we gotta start doing. It got to be black people to do it again. Black folks gotta start starting bands.
Bro, we're not saving nobody else. All right, I'm fucking tired of this shit, dog.
No, you're right. You're right.
Save rock and roll by reintroducing it to white people. I'm not, man. I don't want to.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Matter of fact, let's just take all this shit back.
Up by bootstraps and figure this shit out, dog.
We don't even have to do it for them. Let's just do it for ourselves. Let's just take this shit back over. You know what I'm saying? They gave it up, so fuck it. Let's take it back now. Yeah, I mean, it was ours anyway. Let's just take this shit back.
It'd be like Chuck Berry bending Elvis over.
Yeah, exactly. It was this was our shit anyway, so let's just take it back. Cause
back my music, motherfucker.
Exactly. Y'all had a good 60-year run. Congratulations. That was dope, y'all. That was real fire. Y'all had a good 60-year run on this shit. Now let's take this shit back over. Let's make black music. Let's make rock and roll sound like Ike and Tina again. You know what I'm saying? Because I was listening to some Tina Turner the other day. Like, this is how rock music used to sound like? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? We gotta get back to that. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that.
Proud Mary some shit, man. Come on.
That's the song I was listening to.
Proud. You got Ike's baritone voice in there in the very beginning. Rolling on. And then you got Tina. Then Tina comes in hard.
Hard with that powerful ass voice.
Oh yeah.
See, every single female rocker is trying to emulate that sound again, even if they don't know it. That's the sound they're trying to emulate, that Tina sound. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to get back to that. If they gave up on rock music, bro, let's just take the shit back. You feel me? Like, we could start a band in between ourselves. Fuck it. Let's just take it back.
I will warn you, I have no musical ability whatsoever. I couldn't carry a tune if it had a handle.
In Haitian culture, like, I've always said that compa bands, because they're actual real bands. There's a bassist, there's a guitarist, there's a keyboardist, there's a singer, there's a drummer, there's someone who plays the congos. Like, these are actual, like, instrumentalists. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they do all that. And I've always said that they're basically the rock stars of Haiti, because that's how it kind of works over there within that industry. It's not really an industry, but that's a whole nother topic. But like that's the way it kind of works over there. And I've always said, like, if only they could make songs in English, you know what I'm saying? If they were able to do that, that would be kind of incredible. And I think that we can spread that. But most of their songs are in Creole, French, or Spanish. So that's the reason why we don't see more of them. You feel me?
Yeah, that's a shame. We should be open to more aspects of music from the diaspora.
But yeah,
And we as Americans should be open to more music from the diaspora. And we are not necessarily closed to it, but we don't glom onto it as quickly as we do things that come right from here in America.
yeah. I always say it's the language barrier. That's really it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, whenever I've had people listen to Haitian music, even if they don't understand what they're saying, they're like, "Oh, this is nice." Like they like it. It's just that they can't get all the way into it because they don't understand what they're saying. You feel me? Which I get it. Haitian Creole is it's a rare language. It's only 12 million of us who speak it. You know what I mean? So it's a very rare language. But if they make more of it in English, I think it'll be dope. But yeah. So
Sticking with the current subject, that the white folks have instituted their own halftime show for this coming Super Bowl, right?
that's what I was gonna say.
The Turning Point USA All American halftime show. Oh my fucking god!
They're gonna have some horrible music in that shit.
If that don't sound like some bullshit.
Bad Bunny is American, you idiots. Oh my god.
He's not American. Is the thing about it.
He's not American. Oh man, he's not American enough. But I don't get yeah. I don't get the people who support these people. I don't get the black people who support these people, which confidently, I'm happy, leads me to our next subject, the Coon Squad. Yeah.
Coon Squad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like they out here. They go into our HBCUs. You see, the MAGA bros, they got kicked off the campuses, right? The MAGA bros, they couldn't do what they couldn't make any impact. So then they had to send in their overseers, their Steppits and Fetchits. They had to send their house niggas in to go ahead and talk to the niggas. You know what I'm saying? Talk to the field niggas. Yeah, I mean, we have Savannah Craven, Stephen Davis, Topher, the one with the punchable face, Anthony Watson, and Craig Long. Those are the people who are leading the Blexit student movement or whatever the hell it is. Whatever the fuck that is. We don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Who fuck them niggas. But I want to go ahead and get some opinions before I go ahead and drop mine about the Coon Squad going to HBCUs. Let's start with J-Man. J-Man, what you think about that?
I think it's a sad day when you have your own people going to institutions that were made specifically because of the struggles that you faced in getting an education in the first place, and espousing the rhetoric that's essentially an attempt to put you back in those days. Nothing good can come of that, or anything that they're trying to convince other black people of. That being said, that's what I can see on the surface area. I haven't looked too deep into it. That's something I need to educate myself on and see more about what they're saying. It sucks because I don't want to go and find out what they're saying. Okay, I don't, but I have to. I have to learn and be educated myself about it. I don't want to though, because I know I'm not going to like it.
Oh, you definitely not gonna like. I've spoken to their ties before. What you say? What you say, Ed?
Oh my god. Okay, so I knew about some older members of the Coon Squad and some of the things that they have said in the past, but now these newer members who want to visit HBCUs and try to convince other young black folks, what they're really trying to do is indoctrinate other young black folks into going this hyper conservative route. But what's the motivation behind it? Is the motivation that you actually think that this is going to help the black community become stronger, become more adept, and have greater voice in politics to help the black community? No. This is to get black people to accept their oppression and enslavement again. These are the Negroes you send in to say, no, massa ain't that bad. Get the fuck out of here.
Massa ain't that bad.
You so now
Spazzing out.
I understand that I can get a little intense. These folks would bring that intensity out of me tenfold, simply because you have white supremacy dressed up in a black suit. And there should never be allowed to step on any HBCU campus knowing exactly what they are.
Yeah.
This is massa's harbinger come to tell us that the plantation isn't as bad anymore, that there's room for everyone on the plantation, and that you too can have a high position on the plantation if you merely accept the plantation. The fuck are you talking about? Get out of my face with that bullshit.
Man, and listen, man, I'm one of those people who actually does this, right? I actually do debating. You guys have seen it. So I actually do debate. I actually do this type of content. And one thing that I've always said is that we shouldn't cede the space to these people. And the reason why I engage and the reason why I debate is because I've seen how effective that it is. Like TPUSA and the right, they figured this out. They figured out that you don't really debate to convince the other person. You debate in order to convince the audience. And one thing that conservatives have mastered, conservatives have become very good at, is rhetoric. I mean, they're very, very good with rhetoric. None of what they say has any type of data or evidence behind it, but it sounds right. Yeah, I mean, it sounds intuitive. Like, for example, it's intuitive to say that people shouldn't get jobs simply based on their race. That sounds intuitive, right? So, and that's a true thing that not many people would disagree with you on. But then they add other things into it that is clearly wrong and has no data behind it, like such as affirmative action in DEA and DEI has people get
all the nuance in the historical context of it.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Never mind that affirmative action was originally for white women whose husbands went off to wars or whatever other issues they had. That was originally meant for them.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they do. And not only that, it's just wrong. It's not correct. Like, affirmative action literally does not say to do that. There is no provision, no line in affirmative action or DEI policies that says to do this, right? But then they'll say, oh, just because it doesn't say it doesn't mean that the effects aren't there. But then when you go back and actually research this, it's like these policies benefit mostly white women anyway. So how is what you're saying true? But that gets ignored completely ignored. And I've seen this before when people have said when I've discussed affirmative action and DEI and stuff like that before, they will come up with these ridiculous scenarios like, oh, you know, if there are only 50 spots in a job, they'll reserve 30 of them for black candidates and 20 for white candidates who shouldn't have been there. And I point out that, like, yo, can you actually prove that quotas happen? Like, because not only is that illegal, but fine, you can say that people will still do things that aren't illegal, but that's all good and well. Do you have proof that it happens? Then, and they come up empty-handed. They don't. They do not. You see what I'm saying? And this is the reason why I do these type of debates. You know what I'm saying? To point out those type of holes and to show them and to show people, not to just show the person, but to actually show the people who believe it that what they're saying has no evidence and no backing behind it. They're just using pretty words, right? But that's just a long way to say that. That's why I debate. Now, the thing is why I understand why people do not join in, right? Is because clearly I'm pointing out an issue. They're not there in good faith. They're not there to actually learn something. They're not there to actually present their point of view and to see what the other side point of view is and to walk away with new information, even if they disagree with you. They're not there to do that. They're just there to create a show. They're just there to create clips, because everything that I just said, they would clip it completely out of context just to show that I didn't answer the question. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they will clip out my entire explanation and then move to something else and show another clip just to pretend that I didn't say what I said. That's what they're there for. And the moment that we realize that, that's when folks were like, okay, just don't engage with them. And I understand that. I 100% understand why they won't engage. And the thing is, I get why they don't want to engage, but us who actually do this type of thing, this type of debating, the people who do have the knowledge, I think we should address these people with our own content. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to go on their stage to do it because we know they're gonna clip us. You know what I'm saying? So what we do is that we have our own clips, our own context, and then when we see that they clipped us out, we can call it out easily. You see what I'm saying? And show, hey, he clipped me out of context, and here's everything that I said. You know what I'm saying? And then by doing that, that's when we can expose them more. You feel what I'm saying? And not just by showing that they're not answering these questions and they have holes in their philosophy. So people in the audience will see that. But when those same audience members go see the video and they see that everything I said is completely taken out, that will cause doubts in their mind. You see what I'm saying? And even if they don't drop the video, the people who realize that, hey, he showed something in a debate where this guy was wrong or out of context, and they didn't drop that video, that's when they'll plant the seeds of doubt in their mind and say, maybe I shouldn't be listening to these people. That's how that's how you could use it effectively. But again, I understand not engaging with them, especially the Coon Squad who's gonna go. Like, don't engage with those people. Just grab the mic and start chanting, "They not like us." You know what I'm saying? Just do that. You feel me?
That would be more effective. These people do not debate in good faith, as you said. They debate in bad faith. They're not trying to actually present their argument in a clear, concise manner using critical thought, logic, and the rules of rhetoric and debate. They're not doing that at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're using the ability to reflect what you said back at you to make you look like the bad guy. They deflect the point of the question entirely to move to some other subject to again make you look like the bad guy. Oh, you're talking about this? Well, why aren't you talking about this?
Always the what about it.
Right, because you were talking about this thing over here, which is what I just addressed. That's why I'm not talking about that. But yeah, so they're always going to use some kind of tactic to reverse the situation or turn it in another direction so that they don't have to deal directly with the issue because they don't have the information on board to deal with it in the way that it should be dealt with. Because if they do that, it's going to look bad for them.
Definitely. I love that you brought up the fact that they'll change the subject, because that's happened to me several times on my streams. If you ever watch my stream fully, you'll see they do that all the time. When I get to a point where there's going to be a wall, and I know there's going to be a wall because I've heard everything they said before, they immediately change the subject to, oh, well, what about this? And I keep them to that subject. I'll be like, no, do not do not do that. Go ahead and answer my question. Or the thing that they love to do is, if I have another person on stage, they say, okay, let that person talk, because they know that they can't answer my question. They know they can't address any point that I brought up. They'll be like, okay, let that person talk. And I always do the same thing. I say, nope, it's not that person's turn. It's your turn. I want to hear your ideas. You tell me what you think. Don't go off on somebody else, because that showed me two things. Not just that they're not intellectually capable, is the fact that there's so much cognitive dissonance there that they don't want to address something because it makes them scared. And yeah, I'm saying it. Conservatives are scared because it was even researched that the racism against Black people isn't even about hatred. It's about fear. They are scared. Yeah,
yes. Yes, absolutely. That is the reason for conservatism in and of itself. So the opposite of conservatism, I guess, I wouldn't even say it's liberalism. I'd say it's more like socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with that.
But the conservatives, the reason why America preaches against socialism so much is not because socialism in and of itself is bad. It's because through socialism, everyone is elevated to the same level. And the problem in America is that the Black guy will get the exact same outcome as the white guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, and they want to make sure that never happens. That Black people are, no non-white person gets inadvertently helped to a state where they are now equal with white people.
Yeah.
Socioeconomically. They want to make sure that does not happen. So that's why socialism is preached against in the United States. It's not because socialism is bad. It's not because it would have a negative effect on the culture of the United States at all. Not even. Just look at Canada. I hate Canada, but look at Canada. People tend not to go hungry in Canada. People tend not to have to sleep on the street in Canada. People tend not to have millions of dollars of medical debt in Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
The silliest part about this whole thing against socialism in the U.S. is, well, for one, our politicians all get to benefit from that. Okay, so they don't even practice that bullshit. But even taking it over to our, not so recently revered military, our entire fucking military structure is based around socialism. Everybody has a job. If you can do well enough on your testing, you can pick whatever job you want. Otherwise, you go needs of the army, or any other service, I suppose. But I'm a soldier, so needs of the army. You all get housing. Everybody stays in the barracks unless you're either married or you hit E6, and then you get kicked off to go and live in whatever on-post housing there is. Everybody has their food taken care of. Most of the time. Sometimes there are fuck-ups on bases and stuff, but for the most part, everybody has food taken care of. And everybody has health care. Okay? You go to sick call whenever you're ready, or if there's something wrong with you, you go get an appointment, and they'll take care of it. Sometimes the service isn't always the best, but you're going to get some fucking service. And eventually, if you keep going back, if you don't get the best service your first visit, at some point or another, you're going to get somebody who actually cares enough to do their job well. So you got your fucking housing, you got your food, you got a job, and you got your healthcare taken care of. You're getting paid for all this as well. You have all of those basic needs met.
Yeah. But the entire military apparatus is socialist, which is such insane. Ed, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but you're performing a vital service in service to the country, the United States of America. So you're an exception. You're an exception. All the rest of these shiftless non-white people who are in the United States who aren't doing anything to contribute to the wellness of the United States. Yeah, well, screw all of them. You mean all of these people who are descendants of the people that you brought here to work your land, and then eventually had to let go free, which you then made sure that there was no housing or jobs available for these people, so that they would either be on the street or in prison. This is the system that you set up, and now you're complaining about it.
And the fact that this is all backed by data, right? Not only is it backed by data, but if you lived the experience, it's all just falls together. It's all obvious, right? And these niggas want to argue that it's not there, it's not real, it's fake. Like, I've literally seen black conservatives. Well, I'm not even calling conservatives, I'm just calling Republicans. I've really seen these Republicans claim that systemic racism just doesn't exist, and is just mind-boggling to me, because these same folks, when the shit happens to them, that's when they'll talk about systemic racism. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it exists, so you're just saying this for your white audience. This shit exists, this is real. You know what I mean? And it's not just goofy, but it's like sickening to me that they would be on this type of shit and knowing how it affects us, you know what I'm saying? And they will be on that type of shit. You feel what I'm saying? And it's one of those things where I don't get the mindset. I really don't get the mindset. Like, obviously, as a black person, you should know all these data points, right? You should know that because of systemic racism, because of unequal opportunities in this country, these neighborhoods became what they became. These negative aspects that we can say that are negative aspects of the culture there's a reason for them, right? They didn't come up out of nowhere. You feel me? And you don't just solve it by saying, either vote Republican or let's follow these white talking points. You don't solve that, because there's actual research into this where it showed that black girls who had children out of wedlock, or children young, around 18, 19, 20 years old, and black girls around 18, 19, 20 years old who did not have do those things and did go on ahead and graduate high school, guess what they showed? Similar outcomes. So it's not just people choosing bad. They've had similar outcomes. So if that's the case, there's basically another reason why this is happening, right? Not just people are having kids young. And they did the study, they replicated the study on black boys too, and they showed the exact same thing. Not having children young, graduating high school, similar outcomes to black boys who didn't graduate, who did have children young, similar outcomes. There's another reason for this. And the fact that, they want to argue that is kind of, as black people holding up the same system that puts us down, it's just kind of crazy to me. And I truly don't understand it, which is why I'm kind of fascinated with debating them and talking to them to see how exactly they got to where they got to, because it's like they don't address actual data and actual issues. Like they rather dogpile. I've seen that a lot. Whenever I've been on Black conservative lives and try to talk to them, they rather the white people dogpile you than speaking to you directly. So these folks actually coming out to these campuses, I give them to them that they brave, but I actually want to talk to them to see how they would do without their white attack dogs. You feel me?
I don't think they would do well at all. And matter of fact, we could spend the next hour deconstructing the school to prison pipeline that exists in the black community, because essentially that's what you're talking about the outcomes for the black students who didn't have children and finished school and still wound up in less than favorable circumstances as compared to the black students who had children young and didn't finish school, and they wound up in what would be expected to be non-favorable circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the school to prison pipeline here.
100%. 100%.
These
Mm-hmm.
you got it right the first you got it right the first time. This coon squad is going to tell these students that it's their fault. The system has nothing to do with it. They didn't put in the hard work. They didn't achieve the levels that they should achieve to be accepted by white society. So they need to stop complaining and stop blaming the white man and blah 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 yakety schmackety.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the coon squad because the coon squad will never tell the truth. And if anything ever does pop off, they need to go first.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Feel so strongly about it. Let's see you put those words in action.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's man, it's crazy. Oh man, I know that was a lot, but let's go ahead and move on to some good news. J-Man, you shared that Justin Pearson from Tennessee, local politician, is running for a seat, correct?
Yeah, he's running for Congress. Well, I mean, mostly good news. Just a little bit of bad news in there if you're a Second Amendment advocate like myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Just Pearson, one of the Tennessee three, who was ousted along with who was the other one? Brother Jones. I don't recall his first name. I just know
Let's
that.
see.
Brother
Gloria Johnson and Justin Jones.
There you go. Justin Jones and Gloria Johnson. He was ousted. Jones and Pearson were ousted over there leading a nonviolent, peaceful protest in the Capitol Hill, I believe it was, over a mass shooting that just happened at the time, that happened in Nashville. Those two who were black were ousted. Gloria Johnson, who was white, was not. Shocker there. But no, he's running against, let me pick up my notes for just a moment. He's going against Stephen Cohen. I don't know much about Cohen. I'm not going to lie to you, pretend like I do. I don't. And he's running against him for Congress. His issues right here on his website are environmental and climate justice and poverty and the affordability crisis with economic opportunity ending the gun violence epidemic, affordable housing, healthcare for all, supporting our veterans, protecting immigrant communities, educational equity, and funding our schools, LGBTQIA plus rights. I usually just stop at the T and put the plus there. He's got extra credit for me. And he's got some issues with our foreign policy on how much we spend on our military and that we can afford to keep sending all these other countries bombs and things. For the most part, he's running on getting out the old guard, bringing in new and fresh blood into politics. He's tired of all these old corporate Dems here, which I'm not going to lie to you. I think he's going to. I don't have much faith because I believe that people do try and run into, especially on the grassroots level, they do try and come up through politics with good intentions, but it just kind of peters out eventually if they ever get in. I don't know if I guess just all that money that's in there, they just become jaded and they say, you know what, fuck it, I'll just stay comfortable and that's it. Every now and then you got a rare one, and hopefully he's one of them, but I don't have too much faith in it. But from what I see, he's running on some pretty good stuff. Like I said, the only issue I have is he wants to take away the Second Amendment from a lot of us, and that's a big deal for me. I'm not a single issue voter about guns, but my goodness, I would really, really like for Democrats to stop hating lawful gun owners.
Let me ask. When it comes to his gun position, is he for like removing the entire Second Amendment?
Not the entire thing. He wants national extreme risk protection order or red flag laws, which I think is extremely bad. What that is it means if a person, whether that be a private citizen or some agent of the government, feels as though you are a danger to yourself or others, they can come and take your guns from you. Well, forcibly take your guns from you until you can prove that you're not a threat to yourself or others. So what that is making you guilty, and you have to prove your innocence, right? That goes against how we do law and order in this country. You're guilty until proven innocent. I'm not a fan of that at all. I don't want to have beef with my neighbor and then they hit up the cops and say X, Y, and Z is gonna hurt me because he's got all these guns in his house. And then some cop shows up on my doorstep and says, "Well, you gotta hand them bitches over, dog." Then you gotta go take time out of your job. You gotta call off the work. Use your gas money to go down to whatever psychiatric ward you need. Take whatever tests they got, if those tests are even reliable in the first place. And after you prove all of that, then you're a full citizen again. You can have your guns back.
Dude, that's the exact same that would happen to you if you and your girl break up and she goes to the police and says, well, he committed domestic violence against me. Well, then eventually a cop will come and knock on your door and say, if you have any weapons, you need to turn them over because this domestic violence order is now in place. And it will be in place until you show up at court where the judge will determine whether this thing is valid or not.
Well, I'm against that just the same. That's not a position that I take the opposite stance.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying that this is something that's normal.
Okay.
I'm saying that this is something
normal doesn't make it right in my eyes. That's you. They're already inflicting the punishment, and you have to go and prove your innocence before you can get relief. Yeah. I don't believe that that's an okay thing.
Yeah.
And the other one is he's seeking mandatory waiting periods and firearm education before purchases. I don't mind so much the firearm education. I don't think that you having to go through that should be contingent on you being able to purchase a weapon. I would hope that they try and provide that regardless. I don't think there should be an arbitrary education requirement where it says, okay, well, after you've endured X, Y, and Z amount of schooling hours for firearm safety, now you can exercise your Second Amendment rights. Same thing with the waiting periods. I don't know what their waiting time is. And regardless, it's going to be an arbitrary thing. There's nothing stopping them from saying, okay, well, it's just a day today and then you can go get your firearm. And then later on, then being even harder on it, say, no, you got to wait a year. Because California does that shit with their concealed carry license.
Yeah,
you have people waiting years before they can get their CCWs. In fact, there's some people who are able to get an out-of-state California CCW before actual residence. So I have an issue with that as well. And another thing the one thing that I do 100% agree with him on here is fighting for accessible mental health resources for people who are struggling. He wrote that into his rhetoric of the gun violence epidemic, and I agree with that.
Mhm.
That's something that I've been on a panel about as well. I think that that's actually trying to tackle the underlying issue.
Mhm. Yeah. Here's what I would say about all that. Right. I would say that it needs to be because these remember when I said that there are things like on the surface sound intuitively correct, but then when they're put into practice, you're gonna have issues, right? Like for example, the red flag laws. Intuitively, if someone just like how Ed pointed out has a history of abusing their wife, maybe that person shouldn't have a weapon. You see what I'm saying? So like I could get that part of it, right? However, in practice, just like what he said, there are folks who would just, claim that this happened, and before anything is done, they just go to your house and give me your guns. I get that
Great
because
example,
then
actually.
yeah, and yeah,
A
and
few decades ago,
Mhm.
it was normal for Black people who were, fighting for our civil fucking rights, okay, to be diagnosed with mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, because America's fucking great. What are you out here protesting? There's something that must be wrong with you. And then that would just be an easy excuse for a cop to come and say, oh, well, you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia because you
let me take
fucking
your
hate America,
guns.
because
Yeah,
we
exactly.
decided that you hate America, so hand over your Second Amendment rights.
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
now you have to prove that you don't hate America. And everything's already stacked against you as a Black person there, You're Black, so obviously you hate America. You're out here protesting for civil rights. Everybody's equal, so obviously you hate America. You're never getting your guns back.
All right.
And like you said, it sounds okay on the surface. The issue is always going to be implementation.
Right.
Okay, when it comes to rights, I will always look at it from what's the worst possible thing that could
Mhm.
happen if this is implemented.
Right. No, I do get that part right. However, like the reason why I give some leeway is that yeah, something has to be implemented because the example that we brought up before of abusive spouses, that does happen. They get a weapon and they go ahead and kill their ex-wife. You see what I'm saying? So in I mean it's already illegal to do all that, right? But we all know that police are a reactionary force, not preventative. So we look for ways to prevent that from happening. And I do agree with mental health counseling. And I would say that I know y'all might hate me for this because I don't agree with banning guns like that. That's not a person I'm part of. I have a weapon myself. I do believe in us as Black people being able to protect ourselves, which is why I support the Second Amendment. I've changed a long way from that when I was younger, but I would agree that some sort of measure needs to be put in for people who are either threatened schools or are a danger to others, like in actual and immediate danger to others, and we know that they're planning something. How do we actually prevent that or do something to help that out? Because it's something that we do want to do. We're the only country in the world that has school shootings. I mean, not only country in the world that has school shootings, but as much as we do, as prevalent as it is, it's a problem here. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be a way to do it, whether it's a combination of weapons and their safety and education around that, and mental health resources that I think we need to find a way to have them work in tandem. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes sense to me that if a person is not just my neighbor calls him up and say he's mentally ill, but we have lawyers, not lawyers, but therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists and multiple reports saying yes, this person is mentally ill. Should they have a weapon? Maybe not. For me, I don't think so, because we don't know what's going to happen. You see what I'm saying? But I do think we should focus mostly on the mental health issue. And we are oversaturated with guns in this country. There are more guns in this country than there are people. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge amount of guns. I think somewhere around that we need to clean that up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very easy to access. And this is the only machine that is purposely used to kill things as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Like, it's designed for that. So yeah, I think we should be careful around it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, one of
Thing I'll say
America's
on that,
problems.
and
Definitely.
okay, I'll say this real quick and then I'll let you go. I think we've been taking up a lot to get you in here. And as I think about it like this, if the government has enough evidence to violate someone's rights, then they should have enough evidence to arrest them. Okay.
Mhm.
If you don't, then why should we let them do this? Like I said, this is implementing a punishment before there's any sort of fair trial or due process. If there's somebody who's a danger enough to themselves or society that you think you need to take away their rights, then you should have enough evidence to arrest them on something that's illegal that they've done. Or I believe isn't intent to conspiracy to commit a crime. That's an actionable offense.
Yeah,
If they have something like that, then go ahead. But nobody should be able to just say, this person's doing this person is a little off to me or whatever, and then government agents come in and take away your rights. I don't think that's okay.
Yeah,
everything else he's got on his platform is straight. I'm fine with it. That's just Second Amendment is a big thing for me. I don't want anybody coming and taking my shit.
No, I agree with that. Totally understand. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No problem. Yeah, I agree with you in that it is the right of every citizen to be able to bear arms to defend themselves, their loved ones, their property. The problem that I have is it's one of the things that Volcy just mentioned, and it's the ease of accessibility. Everybody and their idiot brother can get their hands on a gun if they want to. All they have to do is want to enough, and they will be able to get their hands on a gun. Their girlfriend just pissed them off. You know what? I got a homie who's got a homie who knows somebody. Okay. This is entirely problematic. So somebody who just had a bad day can now decide to implement a machine designed to do one thing and one thing only: end life as quickly as possible. It's very problematic. And the accessibility is the huge problem. Yes, we have mental health issues here in the USA, and we have a significant crime problem here in the USA where, yes, American citizens need to be able to defend themselves. They need to be able to access the means to defend themselves. The problem is the criminals have an even greater means and greater access to these very same weapons.
Which is a phenomenal point, because all that ever does is impact law-abiding citizens, because we're going to follow laws. These criminals are not. All you're doing is telling me that as a law-abiding citizen, I'm being punished because criminals aren't going to follow any of these gun laws. You're going to go and tell me I have to go and wait a month, a year, who knows how long, during these mandatory waiting periods, or I need to be educated enough in firearms before I get them. And then some Joe Schmo criminal is just going to go to whoever his friend is across town or whatever and just grab whatever he wants. But I as a law-abiding citizen, I'm the one who has to go and wait for me to be able to exercise my rights. It's like you turn people into criminals. We have enough of us in the 2A community already who are of the mindset that free men don't ask permission. And then at this point, it's just writing it into law. You're just making it harder or less desirable to be a law-abiding citizen.
I got you, but to that point, a lot of the people that we see commit these mass shootings, they got those guns legally in the first place anyway. Like, if there were some resistance to getting it, would they have still gone through with it? That is something to think about, but that does, venture into pre-crime a bit, and we don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I've always said, like, when it comes to this subject, it's a fine line, because intuitively both positions are things that make sense. You know what I mean? We don't want government agents to take away our rights, but at the same time, we don't want people who have we have an issue in this country where folks who want to harm others have an easy access to a machine that is designed to do that. So what is the line that we walk? I think it needs to start number one with us addressing mental health, addressing safety, because I learned about gun safety when I was in elementary school, right? I learned about, go get an adult if you see one, you know what I mean? Leave it alone. Or they even said, like, grab something to cover it with so other people won't look under it. And then you go get an adult, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I learned how to handle when I was in the military. That's when I learned how to, take out, bullets, all that other good stuff. That's when I learned that. I think a lot of that, education and stuff like that needs to come back. We probably need to teach that in school. Of course, not with real guns, with like wooden ones that are that can't get shoot. But I think that should be a thing. Focusing on mental health should be a thing. But the accessibility of it, I'm not sure what to do with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not completely sure, but I do think education and focusing on, which is why I believe in universal healthcare. I think a lot of these, mass shooters wouldn't have done what they done if they had access to a psychiatrist, access to a therapist who can talk them down, who can work them through it, access to ways out of poverty. You see what I'm saying? Who can that they had other coping mechanisms for their stress and stuff like that. I think if we focus on those things, we'll see it go down. Plus the education and doing something about how accessible it is exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like these things have to work in tandem, in my opinion. And if we had that, I think things would work a lot better. I'm not sure about banning all automatic weapons. I do know other countries did that.
Oh, that is one of his platforms as well. He wants to ban all quote unquote assault rifles.
Yeah. I'm not sure how well that'll work out here. You know what I'm saying? And what does a ban mean? Like meaning that you cannot buy them anymore? Because even in countries
overnight, nobody's grandfather, all of you are done for.
Right, exactly. So like even in countries like Australia that did do the ban, it wasn't that you can't buy it anymore. It's just you gotta take more steps to buy it. You know what I'm saying? That's the issue. You gotta have this license, this permit, you gotta have this type of education, then you gotta wait a few months, then you could buy it. You know what I'm saying? So they just have more steps. It's not completely gone. There's just more steps in. I don't know. I'm not sure if American society would even agree with that, which makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? With these these machines.
Well, if that's the case, let's start limiting the First Amendment as well. Okay, let's put in some waiting periods. Let's have an approved list of things you can and can't say. Let's just go full to the whole Bill of Rights, all of them.
I think that that Justin Pearson has a good idea, not necessarily with the gun banning and all that kind of good stuff. He has a good idea with bringing in younger ideas into government.
That I do agree.
These are questions. These are questions that you and the three of us here are never going to be able to answer with any amount of finality whatsoever. But bringing in younger ideas, younger people into government who will be able to flesh out these ideas, and because we have the vast amount of human knowledge available to us at our fingertips now, these younger folks will have much more information on board to be able to analyze these particular problems and come up with a solution or set of solutions that probably would be more beneficial to all of us. I don't know right now what any of those solutions would be. I have no idea. I can recognize problems, but I can't say that I could bring a solution to any of these problems right now that would work for everybody. So
yeah, no, I agree, because like we can talk about this all day and then like where we won't come up with a viable solution, because like I said, I don't know how to walk this train. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it does come down to a rights issue, like how J-Mo was talking about. It does come down to that. You know what I mean? Do we even like here's one thing I've said. All of our rights do have like caveats to it. You know what I mean? Like fire in a crowded building, you need a permit to do a parade. All of those are basically regulations on speech. So guns are going to have regulations whether we like it or not. You feel what I'm saying? Because I can't buy a tank right now. You feel me? I need licenses and everything like that. That's kind of a regulation.
All rights come with responsibility. All rights come with responsibility built in. Yeah, exactly.
But like banning certain things, and I'm uncomfortable with that as well. Yeah, you know I mean, even though like laws like what I say is this in Australia seem to make sense, I'm still apprehensive about it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not sure if that'll make sense, but like I said, we'll talk about this all day, but we're not gonna.
Let's get on to.
This is a great subject, though. This is an excellent subject, because we have a brother from Tennessee who, a historically racist state, is coming up through the ranks of the legislature saying, hey, I want to change things and I want to bring you folks with me. Now, a lot of politicians start out sounding very holistic and very positive, and they turn into, well, a lot of the shit that we already have. But at least what we can do right now is give him the opportunity and let him be heard.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope he wins.
The guy he's going up against, Stephen Cohen, he's what, 60, 70 something over there.
Yeah, this guy's 30.
He's not ready to change for any time or nothing. He's probably fine, just staying in wherever he's at. He doesn't want anything to change.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, Justin is
That's how it
Justin is
typically is when you get older. You know, you just don't want shit. You're like, all right, it's pretty comfortable where we're at now. I'm used to this. Let's keep it like this.
Yeah.
Justin is 30 years old. He got married this year. So he is symbolizing right now, he's embodying what it is to be a responsible, upstanding black American male.
Mhm.
Having his wife with him right there by his side. He's doing it.
Yeah.
So let's give him the chance to keep to do it and so that other people can hear his voice as well.
Yeah, I would agree. We definitely got to do that. But speaking about
Also, significantly better news. We got Joseph Williams here. He's a World War II vet. He celebrated his 106th birthday.
I did see that.
Last-
Yes.
Yes.
So
And September 30th, he celebrated his 106th birthday. Joseph Williams here. He was a World War II vet. Before he joined the Navy, he worked at a turpentine plant and he served in the Pacific Theater. After he got out, he attended Old Lincoln School in Tallahassee and earned a certificate in interior decoration after he came home. He worked as a house painter well into his 70s. He was a member of Masonic Lodge number 259. He was a volunteer firefighter. Shout out volunteer firefighters, used to be one. And last year, the Leon County Board of County Commissioners honored Williams for his dedication to the nation and community. That same year, last year, he joined his fellow vets on an honor flight to Washington, D.C., where he visited the World War II Memorial for the first time. He has one daughter, 4 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. So, shout outs to Joseph Williams over here. Managed to live to one. I'm over here hoping to at least make it to 75. Okay. And he's gone 20, what's that, 21, 26, maybe? I'm not good at math. Help me out here.
yeah. He's gonna like about 26 years
good.
over that. I mean,
Yeah.
The thing is, I love that. I love hearing stories about that. I love hearing us living over to be 100, and just on my nerdy side,
31.
yeah, 31. Yeah, just on my nerdy side to point out, it has been said that we will probably be the first generation to live to 150 because of how good technology is getting and how good science is getting with longevity, and we're just at the cusp of even curing aging in of itself. You know what I'm saying? So we might be able to see one on 150. That would be amazing if we're able to do that. Do mind uploads and shit like that. That would be a different subject for another time. I'll bring
Big
that up.
to Joseph
But
Williams.
but big up to Joseph
Big up-
Williams. I love that.
Yeah, big up to Joseph Williams, and so one of the announcements with regard to medical technology is that CRISPR has now been used to actually eradicate the AIDS virus from a living being.
Yes.
So
Yes, that did
we
happen.
finally have figured out a very viable possible cure for AIDS.
We have. And that is amazing. News like this, gives me hope, for humanity. Give me hope for the future, definitely. You know what I mean? Shout out to the brother Joseph for living a lifelong and enough service to a country that doesn't appreciate you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And man, just 106 years, man. That's incredible.
Bro
I
needs to be
love that.
bro needs to be canonized. I mean, he
Mhm.
he gave the
He's lived through
most
so much.
he gave the most productive years of his life to supporting and defending this country that could not give a shit about him. And then he has outlived all of his contemporaries, including the ones who hated him.
Mhm.
Hopefully he lives to outlive a couple more of them.
Yeah, definitely. He should outlive a couple more of them. I wish. Matter of fact, if brain uploading technology gets invented in the next few years and he's still alive, he should be the first one to get that. You know what I'm saying? Just for him to live
If
on.
he wants it.
If he
If
wants
he
it.
wants it.
If he wants it, yeah, of course. If he wants it,
I don't know. If things keep going this way, I don't know if I want to live that.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I'm hoping he lives enough that he sees things start turning around even a little bit. Because,
Mhm.
we got very big highs and lows in this country.
Mhm.
But hopefully, he lives to see some more of these highs that he fought so hard for.
Yeah, definitely. I hope
agree.
I hope he does. I really hope he does. You said about CRISPR and eradication of AIDS. I did read that just the other day. What do you brothers think about that? This type of technology, because I heard of CRISPR about 10 years ago, and they said that it can be used to. They did predict this could be used to eliminate certain diseases, but it can also be used to create basically designer babies. You know what I mean? Like change the genetic code to have them have a full
Gene
head of
editing,
hair.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like gene editing, like a full head of hair, and you can do it to yourself too. Like that's
Oh,
a
that's
that's a
what I
thing.
want.
Yeah, that's something to talk about. You feel me? Can I change my genes to be taller because I'm only 5'4". You know what I'm saying? Like that shit sucks as a man to be that short. You know what I mean? I'm pretty
It's
sure
like, wait a
you
minute,
guys are
guy.
like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys are like 6'2" or some shit like that. Like I'm really
Not
small.
no,
You know?
not me,
I'm
not
5'7".
me. I am 5'7".
That's in a normal range. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I think that's fantastic. Eradicating any disease is amazing. One thing I love bringing up is just at times when nobody's thinking about it is, you just look at a person, you say, think about it, dude. Imagine you go to the gas station, you get yourself a bag of cough drops, and you travel back in time towards the Black Plague, and you see a sickly child, you just say, hey, eat this candy. And that's it. Imagine going back and telling them, like, listen, this whole plague you guys got going around that's smoking the entire population, just eat some candy.
Yeah.
Just eat some candy. You managed to eradicate something to just candy. And you don't even need the candy for real. Really, you just need good rest. Get yourself in the bed, get on a warm blanket, and just rest, and you'll be over.
Here's some clean water. Here's some clean water, some food that hasn't been nibbled on by rats. Get yourself some good bed rest, some sunshine. Yeah, I think you'll do okay.
Yeah, that's all you
Imagine
need.
trying to tell somebody that from the Black Plague, they look at you like you're crazy, but that's how we've gotten it today. And I think it's so amazing that we've got, all these medical cures, vaccines, things to prevent, and just like being able to prevent that, to cure it now is amazing. Medical science is something that I'm very grateful for. I'm very appreciative.
I'm someone who had a very close family member who succumbed to complications due to AIDS back in the early 2000s. And I got to see this relative deteriorate, not just from a physical point of view, but also I watched his mind deteriorate as well. And it turned him into an entirely different person than the individual that I knew growing up. And so the devastation wasn't just his body and he's going to die. It was also the man who died was not the man that I knew when I was growing up.
Man.
So the devastation caused by this, hopefully we are right on the verge of completely eradicating anyone from ever having to experience this again.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get some real good education out there, because these motherfuckers like down in Florida over here saying you don't need vaccines anymore.
Oh God!
Idiots. Oh wait,
They don't want
to take vaccines. Wait, they don't want to take vaccines, and they also don't want to use condoms. What the hell?
God, it's such a. I don't. What do you? What are y'all do? I don't. Oh my goodness. What are we doing? I don't understand. What is it with what is happening?
Again, I'm the old head. AIDS came up into the news when I was around 9-10 years old. And that was in the very early 80s.
10 years old.
So yeah, I grew up my very formative years in the 80s. Huge education about HIV and AIDS, all that pushed onto us all the time. So when it came to me being in high school and then in college, condoms all the time, condoms everywhere. Always had condoms, always had condoms. Have no accidental children because I always had condoms. Everything's great, wonderful. Use condoms. Why is it that right now I'm seeing all this stuff online? Nobody's using a condom. Everybody's just talking about what diseases they're getting and what they got to go get cured and what they got to go take pills for now. And you could have just used a condom.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is so great because look, it's great that we have ways to deal with this now. Like you said, we got the pills and all these other vaccines. It's great that we have a way to deal with these things, but that shouldn't be your primary fallback. It's just like, oh, it's okay. If I do catch this, I'll just go and pick up some whatever I need from the drugstore, I'll be all right. No. Okay, take preventive measures. Okay, these cures and things should be used if you've done everything right and you still end up getting whatever you get. It shouldn't be you shouldn't be thinking it's okay, I'll just go to the drugstore and get whatever I need afterwards.
Yeah,
That's why it's called prophylactic. That means protection.
Yeah, it has been starting to become more of a case where, you know, people are for some reason just like you said, just not taking these things and not taking it seriously. That may be because of, you know, our society where we're so used to having, you know, those things are already. It's like we're so used to us, you know, if you get syphilis or something like that, it's not a death sentence anymore. When back in the day, that's what it was. Like back in the day, yeah, you got syphilis, that was a death sentence. Like that's what Mozart died of. Yeah,
It killed Al Capone.
It killed Al Capone, and I think it killed Mozart too. That's what they died of, you know. So it's
Henry VIII as well.
yeah, exactly. So when it's something like that, yeah, I mean back then it was super serious, but now we know that no, you're not gonna die of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're probably spoiled as a society where we know like certain things are not going to destroy us completely. So you know folks care less and less and less. But that now creates a problem because just like again, now folks are not using protection, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make sense to me to just because so because I know that I have a very good doctor who is an amazing surgeon and can do some things that other surgeons haven't been able to figure out yet. Does that mean that I'm gonna go get into a gunfight without a bulletproof vest just because I know that I have a surgeon that knows how to pull bullets out of my chest?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think I don't want those bullets there in the first place. That's just like the herpes virus or the spirochete for syphilis. I want to prevent it from getting to my chest in the first place.
Yeah.
So let me wear my vest.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Very easy. Yeah, I mean, very easy. And it's I don't know. It's going to become more and more of a bigger problem in my opinion if folks don't, you know, start taking a lot of this seriously. Yeah, you feel me? Because yeah, it's still very much out there and you can still very much die of it. So yeah, take it
What about
seriously, guys.
the flesh eating bacteria that is now becoming more rampant as far as STIs are concerned? There are now STIs that will eat your shit off.
Yeah. Yeah. That exists now, which is insane.
Folks still run around playing ball like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just cannot dig it.
No,
I can't even imagine.
I get it. It's like, yo, what you do serious, right? Like there's some shit out here that you know what I mean, like the shit on your lip got shit on its lip. You know what I mean? So like y'all gotta start taking this seriously, y'all. Like yeah, you could die. You know what I mean? There's flesh-eating bacteria that you can get through sex now. So yeah, you know.
Things are a lot more serious in a cold sore these days.
Yeah, man, exactly. Oh boy. All right. So talking about some serious things, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up with our last topic. We are now officially in week 2 of the government shutdown. Week 2 or week 3? Week 2, right?
Week 2, yeah, but week 3 is on the horizon.
Week 3 is on the horizon. All right, we're on now week 2 on the government shutdown. So what's been happening with the government shutdown so far? We know that the news, of course, people are not getting paid, but also Trump is going to go on a layoff spree, which is what he warned about. So not only are people not going to get paid, but people are going to get laid off permanently, and there's doubt over whether they're going to get back pay in the first place. It's a lot.
You already said that for the military. You already said for the military, you're not getting back pay.
Oh my God. And I was in the military during that time, and those people were so happy when they got their back pay. Yeah, I mean, because they held on to the rent, their rental, you know, they held it until the furlough stopped. You know what I mean? But still, the fact that they got all those thousands of dollars and they were able to pay their rents and, you know, fill their food, their houses with groceries. And now that, you know, they may not get that back pay, I find it both, you know, he could lose military members because for that. He could really lose them.
He's definitely going to lose.
Yeah, he's definitely going to lose military members for that, for not giving them their back pay. But I want to hear what you guys think about this, and then I'll be back. But like, yeah, what do you guys think about, you know, them not getting their back pay?
I think there's some bullshit. So I have a friend. Who works for the FBI, and she posted on Facebook that, okay, so the government shutdown is starting. What that mean? I've been told that I need to show up for work as usual. I just won't be getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's called slavery.
Yeah, basically.
And then my niece, she said she got furloughed. She works for the government down in, I think, Virginia. She said she got furloughed and she has no idea when she's going to be brought back, if she's going to be brought back.
Man, that is, that is some bullshit, man. It's
to say, yo, you're not getting paid, but you still got to show up for work.
Still got to show up for work.
That's slavery.
That's slavery. That's slavery.
Damn, imagine if they had unions. Maybe they could do something about that. But as we all know, it is legal for the military to unionize. So
yeah, maybe we should look into more of that, guys. Yeah, you know, unions. Maybe we should look more into that, shouldn't we?
For federal workers.
Yeah, maybe that should be more of a thing, guys. Right?
But in capitalist societies, unions have always been looked down upon.
Oh yeah,
always. And this country has had an amazing.
I would never endorse unionizing, as that is illegal. But if you would like to go and do your research about it, and, you know, think about that independently and critically, instead of just saying, hey, just because it's legal must mean that that's the right thing. You know, you should check that out for yourself, workers of the world.
Yeah.
See if that's something that you really think is a good thing. Maybe bring that up to your politicians. Get that on a vote or something if you can.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've always believe in, you know, fighting for your rights in your workplace, because the workplace is where you're going to spend a significant amount of your life, right? So like make sure that, you know, it's an area where you're going to not only be safe but actually enjoy. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people who support cooperatives and, you know, more workplace democracy. I think more companies should be ran like that, because like, this is our workplace. You know what I mean? I'm spending a lot of my life here, you know, so it's like, why not be comfortable where I'm living? I'm not where I'm living, where I'm working. You feel me?
Thinking about people who have to go to work and they're at their desk, you know, that one person that always comes to the desk to bother them, and, you know, they sit there politely and deal with that person until the person goes away, they can get back to work. Now that happens, like, hey, I was getting paid to deal with your shit. I'm not getting paid for that no more. Go the fuck away, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the fuck away from my desk. Nobody is paying me to deal with your shit right now.
Exactly, bro. No, I can't deal with this shit.
Some people gonna get hurt. I'm serious.
No, facts. Facts were like, yo, I'm not dealing with your shit today, Craig from accounting. I'm not dealing with this shit today, Craig from accounting. Like, hey, yo, yes, I'll take a 17-minute break. Like, whatever. Fuck out of here.
The next time my lunch gets stolen, I'm punching everybody in the face. I don't care who did it. I'm punching everybody in the face.
For real, bro. It's like I'm not even getting paid to deal with y'all shit today. Like, wow.
Right. And exactly, I feel for the government workers. They got to show up. They still have to show up to their jobs because they've been deemed as being necessary. Like my friend who works for the FBI. But I mean,
and they just don't know if they're getting that check or not.
Exactly.
Right. What do they have to show for it? What do they have to show for it now?
Exactly. Now we have absolutely nothing.
Though. I've seen it on, again, somebody else had to put this on Facebook because I don't got other socials. I tweeted out on Truth Social. I don't know. Are they called tweet? I don't care what they're called.
They're called
Chuck Schumer recently. They're called Truths. Okay, sure.
Hilariously stupid.
Don over here, truthed out. Chuck Schumer recently said Every day gets better during their radical left shutdown. I disagree. If nothing is done because of quote unquote leader Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, our brave troops will miss the paychecks they are rightfully due on October 15th. That is why I am using my authority as Commander-in-Chief to direct our Secretary of War, it's Secretary of Defense, okay, Congress hasn't changed it, Pete Hegseth, to use all available funds to get our troops paid on October 15th. We have identified funds to do this, and Secretary Hegseth will use them to pay our troops. I will not allow the Democrats to hold our military and the entire security of our nation hostage with their dangerous government shutdown. The radical left Democrats should open the government, and then we can work together to address health care and many other things they want to destroy. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America.
How is it the Democrats have shut down the government when the Republicans are in control of all three branches of the government?
That's the weird part about it. Not to mention that the Democrats have, I'll give them a little bit of credit for this, okay? I don't fucking like them, but I'll give them a little bit of credit. They tried to hold a vote just on the singular issue of paying military during this time. Just that's it. That was the only thing in that they were going to vote on. And whoever the Republican majority leader is, he refused to hold that vote. It was going to be a call-in vote, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he refused to bring back all the other politicians together to get that done.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's the Democrats that are holding up the government.
Never mind the guys that have the executive, legislative, and judicial branch all firmly in the grasp of their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow they're the ones being hindered by these radical Dems.
They're the ones that decided for the government shutdown. They're the ones who voted on it, approved it, made it so. But it's the Democrats' fault. I
can't. I don't know.
Whatever he wants with executive orders, and the Supreme Court will just let him. But this is where he gets. This is where he loses.
If you don't give me your sandwich, I'm gonna punch myself in the face. And now that I've punched myself in the face, it's your fault that I've punched myself in the face. Right. You see this black eye that I have? It's your fucking fault.
I wouldn't have had to do that if you just gave me the damn sandwich.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God.
It's all because of you. Oh, that's amazing.
Oh man, we could use the 1980s version of Eddie Murphy right now.
Yeah, we could. Like we could really use some Boondocks episodes to explain all this, because this is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Oh, this government shutdown is so we've lived through several other government shutdowns before, but none of them have been this absolutely satirical.
We're living in a real life Boondocks and South Park episode. We really are, because it's
Boondocks, South Park, Simpsons. They got it all.
Everything.
Oh man.
Like I've never. My goodness.
Yep, we're living in a cartoon USA is what's going on. This is the cartoon USA. Essentially,
and it's hilariously bad. It's like, okay, so first these guys are getting furloughed. Then of course he found some money to do back pay, which means that America already had the money. Yeah, I mean they already had that shit. So they had the money to do back pay. They just got that. But the layoffs, y'all. 300,000 black women have already lost their jobs due to this administration, and we already know these layoffs are going to hit even more federal workers, a lot of them being black people, black men and black women, probably going to be a lot of black women, of course. So there's going to be all these layoffs that are going to be happening next. I don't know anyone who works in the federal government as of now, but I don't think it's a good idea when there are more unemployed people than there are jobs to lay off even more people. Like this is not going to be good for our economy. But you guys are probably better at these economic fallouts than I am. What do y'all think the effects of these new branch of layoffs are going to happen? Because the last run of layoffs that we saw happen, the federal government has always been incompetent on a few things, but now it's looking really shitty. You know what I'm saying? The way that this government is ran, it's I don't even know how the words to describe it. With these new fresh bound of layoffs, what do you guys think is gonna? What do you guys think the effects are gonna be? Because I don't think efficiency is gonna come from this. What do you guys think?
Word, but when the Department of Government Efficiency, everything's got to be efficient now. I mean, that was the whole point. I'm no economist, though. I have absolutely no clue. It can't be good to have so many people out of work, not being able to pay their bills and provide for whoever they need to provide for. That's never a good thing.
Never. So let's just look at history. Let's just take a look at history and see what happens in a society when you have massive inflation, government shutdown, huge numbers of layoffs, and very few satisfied members of society. What usually
that's
happens?
What he wants. That's what he's going to use to that's a stupid talking point anyway. That's what he's going to use to justify sending in more. He's doing it all. I hate when they bring it up because he's doing it already.
He's doing it already.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
He'll tell you, don't do X, Y, and Z, or he's doing this so he can do X, Y. He's already doing it. Okay? That he doesn't need any pretext for this. He's doing it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And just like we said the last time with what happened in Chicago, taking the temperature. Are they going to revolt or are they just going to bend over? But most of us are somewhere in the middle. We know what would happen if we revolted. Come on, again, like you said, that's just the excuse. But we're not exactly bending over either.
Yeah.
We're observing what's happening. We're observing what's going on. We're taking notes of everything that's going on. People have their phones out when they see ice. They have their phones out. They're taking video, which I highly, highly, highly recommend and support. Make sure that you have eyes on everything that's going on around you. Again, like I said, I wear a body cam every time I leave my house. Today, when we were at the farmer's market, I had my body cam on. Just going to the farmer's market. I don't care what happens. I'm going to make sure I got my eyes on. So, as they're going to use the excuse that they're going to need to put in more troops, but people should just sit back and watch what happens. Now, when it gets to the point where they are actively taking away people's rights, because the thing that happened in Chicago, they said, okay, they let mostly everybody go. They found the gang members they were looking for, or whatever like that. And basically that turned out to a zero-sum outcome. Won't always be that way. And when it finally turns into a situation where it's not a zero-sum outcome, they're not just flexing muscles, they actually want to hurt somebody, that's when things are going to pop off. But I don't think things are going to pop off exactly the way that they expect.
It will not.
What they expect is the general everybody out in the street throwing Molotov cocktails and that kind of thing. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think that the next actual real revolt is going to be more insidious, and it's going to come from the internet.
Exactly what's going to happen. Because
we have the technology.
Exactly what's going to happen. Like because they're going to use the internet to coordinate. Yeah, I mean, just like how the Arab Spring was. During Arab Spring, that's what they used. They used the internet to coordinate. They used the internet to know where certain people are going to be. Yeah, I mean, they use the internet to document things and get it out there into the world. You feel what I'm saying? So the internet is going to be his worst enemy.
Yes, I agree with you, but I don't think that that's just what's going to happen. What I think is they're going to use the internet. The people who are the more tech savvy members of the rebellion are going to use the internet to start shutting down services and communication networks that the powers that be need to use in order to keep their logistics in place. The smaller folks are going to start using the power of the internet to their advantage, because there are members of our society who know how to use this technology to make it worse for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
All you have to do is point it in the right direction.
Yep, exactly. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen as well. They're gonna be like, okay, they use these broadband frequencies in order to go ahead and get after us. All right, cool. Now you're gonna listen to the drowning pool. Let the bodies hit the floor. That's what you're gonna be listening to instead of communicating. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, there are people who know how to do that, because one thing that I've read before, right? And when I was studying politics, logistics during war is everything. Like wars,
yes, it is.
yeah, wars are won and lost on logistics. The reason why Napoleon lost in Russia 100% was logistical. The reason why Germany could no longer do their warring 100% was logistics. The reason why Israel always calls for a ceasefire or stops doing their genocide to the Palestinians is whenever America does what? Shuts off the tap to military aid. Logistics. They do not have the logistics to keep it up. You see what I'm saying? So that's always what happened. If you start to mess with the supply lines, if this rebellion that they want, just like how Ed said, it's not gonna happen on the streets. It'll happen online. It'll happen on Twitter. There are going to be people who are going to be tweeting out the positions of soldiers and tweeting out where people are going to be and tweeting out this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be their worst enemy. Their worst enemy.
Supply lines will be cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Communications will be interrupted. The ability for systems to flow to be able to do what they want to do are going to be, if not outright destroyed, they're going to be very much disrupted. So the world is going to look a lot darker before it looks better, from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at this as somebody who's seen people revolt several times, except now there's much greater at stake, because now we have, not only do we have the internet, which we've had for like the last 30 years, we also have AI at our fingertips to be able to help us do this. Because I can go to an AI right now and say, hey, I need a script that'll help me infiltrate this, that, or the other thing, or to open this particular channel of communication, and then I need to do this with it. And the AI goes, oh, okay, well, here's the first part, and here's the second part. Now, here's how you put them together to be able to do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
See? That's all you really need to do anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's all you got to do. All you got to do. Yeah, I mean, so we'll see what happens in the next 2 months. And when the next few weeks was, we're going to start to move into week 3 of the government shutdown. But we'll definitely be back next week to talk more about that and more about what affects our community. Let's go ahead and sign off. Well Adjusted, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on BlueSky, wellajusted.bsky.social. You can find me on Reddit at wellajusted. You can find me on Discord at wellajusted.
And JMan, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. Hit me over here on BlueSky at DreamJMan, DreamJMan. Same thing on Reddit, 15 at the end of it, the number, DreamJMan 15.
And for myself, you can find your boy on YouTube, Volcy Thoughts, TikTok, Volcy Thoughts. The Discord, Volcy's Congregation, is coming soon. That will be there because I am starting my cult, y'all. Yeah, I'm starting my cult, y'all. You know what I mean? I got to start it up. You feel me?
Yeah, atheists from their atheist mega churches every fucking time.
I always said I wanted to start a cult, and the name of my cult would be the Church of the High Holy Heathen.
Yeah. Mine is just gonna be the congregation. Yeah, I mean, the high congregation.
The High Holy Heathen is me. The High Holy Heathen is me.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Good talk, gentlemen. Good talk.
Yeah, this was definitely a good talk. I appreciate you guys being here. We are signing out, guys. We miss y'all. I said we miss y'all. What am I talking about? All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead.
You guys are supposed to be here, but I weren't here. We miss you guys.
Come yeah, the guys supposed to be here. We miss those guys. All right, we miss those guys. We love you all. Also, I always encourage everyone to be soft. What that means is to be smart, be observant. Remember that you are fallible, but you remain thoughtful. So always be soft. All right. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.
You take it easy.
Peace.